It is with immense pleasure that I welcome with us today Rebecca and Mark, international trade experts, during this second edition of the MCB Trade Week. It is under the theme of enabling African trade growth with a sustainability lens. This is very, very interesting on what you say with respect to sustainability and how it integrates with respect to African trade. But from a macroeconomic perspective, with respect to Africa now, Rebecca, how do you see sustainable trade in the future for Africa? Where are we heading?
From an African perspective, what we're looking at is the sectors that are growing. So if you look at the sectors that we need around the world to promote sustainability everywhere else, so energy transition, food security, energy security, all of these types of things, Africa is rich in those resources. So if Africa is trading outwards to the world in things like base metals, in critical minerals, and in food, it's helping the world with its own sustainability. But more than that, the most important thing that Africa needs to think about is making sure its own base is secure, making sure it manages its own transition into a sustainable world. And that, as Mark quite rightly says, is about jobs, it's about communities, it's about education, it's about health. And we're seeing actually a really significant growth in the service sector in Africa. And what that means is, even in a time of COVID, where we've seen tourism decline, we're seeing other sectors grow in the service sector, and that's very encouraging for Africa because it means that Africa's moving up the value chain. It's not just producing raw materials, it's actually going up the value chain in terms of intra-African trade in particular. So that's actually very, very positive for Africa.
On this positive note, I'll say, how can a corporate, if you were to advise a corporate on Mark, is how do you tap into these opportunities that the sustainable trade is promoting with respect to Africa?
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting question. You know, sustainability is a game changer for African corporate. It gives the African corporate a platform to think about what will be my legacy in 10 years' time, in 20 years to come. What will people say about this company? For instance, what MCB is doing, listening to your team, the customer that you help to import the medical equipment for solving leukemia problem. You can imagine the number of people who go to that hospital and you give them life, and maybe somewhere in that hospital they say this equipment is financed by MCB. That guy, maybe it's just 10 years today. When he became 50 years, 60 years, I got my life back because MCB funded this equipment that saved my life. So sustainability go beyond numbers, go beyond the accounting. It's all about legacy. What legacy do I want to leave behind in 50 years to come? So any corporate that really worth its name should be not looking at the immediate short time, but looking on the long-range legacy. But it all starts with a small step. It all starts with changing the mindset that it's not just for us as a corporate to make profit, but looking beyond the numbers. How did community benefit? How have I affected the people around me? That's what African corporate needs to be looking at now.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Rebecca. I think what you just told us is very insightful with respect to how we should now look really positively at the opportunities in front of us, but also that there are challenges. And if we have the right partner with us and have this collaborative mindset, is we are able to really go forward. So on this note, I would like to really thank you, Rebecca, and thank you, Mark, for being here, really providing us with greater insights. And thank you to our audience for listening. And we hope that with respect to MCB strategy to promoting trade, that you will be talking to us, to our teams, to really try to see how we can propose solutions, not always, but we try to propose solutions to help you take your business to new heights. So on this note, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.